So I hope my voice is audible to you all, and you all can see this slide. Can please someone reply? You can see this slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Right. So today, now I think thank you, Rituparna. So now today we are going to start our first demo lecture for this general studies, right? General studies for combined geoscientist examination. So the other day around 10 days ago, we had a general analysis and we discussed about the importance of this general studies in a career in as a geoscientist. Like so, the marks of this general studies paper are now directly added to our rank, right? So like this is making a good difference in in the final marks and the ranking. So like it is getting pretty important. So like last we discussed a quote that now from last 2 years, this general studies geology is still the king, right, for us. Or maybe if you have chemistry as the optional or as a subject, or maybe you are from physics background or geophysics background, right? But geology is still the king, right? But from last 2 years, gender studies has gained a lot of importance, and it is becoming a kingmaker, right? So we will discuss more about it. So like in that context, we need to cover uh, our syllabus. So this is the general guidelines given by UPSC. You must have all read the notification. So like they want that general studies will be common to all the streams. Like the questions and the paper will be same for all the streams, whether it is chemistry, geophysics, physics, or geology, and the standard will be as it is expected of a science graduate, right? Right, a learned person. So this is the general language UPSC has put in its notification, and this is a briefly we'll discuss. Like this is the brief pattern, you all are aware of it. So like this is the general studies paper. So this is 100 marks, and this will be included in rank, in the final rank, right? And another thing is, in this 100 marks, a lot. Am I not audible?
No, sir, you
Yes,
are
audible,
audible.
sir.
Okay, so
You're
like
audible.
okay, okay, like
Audible, sir. Audible.
all right, thank you. Somebody said that audio is not there, so please check. There might be some issue with your system, maybe restart it, right? So okay, thank you. So like this is the general pattern which we are all aware of, right? Then again, just to start off, I have put the syllabus. Like always we should have syllabus. If you want, if you're preparing for a competitive examination, whether it is GSI, whether it is even it is gate, or even exam like IAS, IFS, this is a mandatory thing. Always put syllabus at a place where you study, right? Maybe in front of your study table. So if you have the syllabus now, whatever you will be studying, you can you can slot in it, right? Suppose you are I am if you are in the group, I am sharing few things to you almost daily, 4 to 5 information almost daily to you all. It is mostly current affairs, some of it is even static part. So if you know the like, I'm sorry, a lot of people are joining now, right? So if you know the, like, if you know there is a history in your syllabus, there is geography, polity. In polity, UPSC has given that there is constitution, political system, panchayati raj. These 5 topics they have explicitly mentioned. So if suppose I am giving you a factoid about any government scheme, so you know where to plot it in your notes as well as in your mind, right? So it is always very important to have this syllabus in front of us, right? Otherwise, these general studies might become very overwhelming. Now you might feel that everything under the sun we have to study, but no, that is not the case, right? So one thing is this syllabus you should be learned by heart. There is not much to learn by heart here. And the second thing is previous year question, right? So like if you want to top any examination, these two things are mandatory. Like if you talk to any topper, whether it is IAS, IFS, even Lawrence sir, the another mentor, he was AIR 1 in GATE, right? GATE 2018, he was all India rank 1 by a fair amount of margin, right? He was the second topper was around 4 marks out of 100 below him. So if you ask him also now, his strategy was always to stick to the syllabus, right? Prepare every bullet point of the syllabus, but don't go much far away, right? So this is the thing. So this I wrote here because these are the four things in polity, right? This is our polity syllabus, and this is what we are uh, more concerned today, right? We will take all other topics subsequently in other classes, but today we want to study only polity. So, see, in Indian polity, UPSC has given this thing: Indian polity and governance. This is our topic, and UPSC was kind enough to put some other keywords. The first keyword is constitution, political system, panchayati raj, public policy, and about rights, right? Rights issues. So we will also plan our lecture in these lines only, right? We will build from the syllabus. So like these are the five things. So today we will be having a very easy or very primitive overview of our constitution. Like it is one of the most important document of our country. So we will have an overview of this document, right? So before it, I also have couple of slides for this previous year questions analysis. This we shared in that also in the analysis session, and again I am sharing it here. So like you can see there are 120 questions, right? This is 2020. This was the first year when general studies was introduced. So you can see there was around 9 questions, right? Around 9 questions from our this section, polity, and here it has increased to 12 sections. So I think every year you can expect around 10% of the questions from polity, right? Because after becoming a geoscientist, you all will be ultimately a public servant, right? You all will be a officer. So a officer of a government must be aware about some nitty gritty of the laws, right? Some nitty gritty of the polity in which in the system in which he or she is operating. So that is the general wisdom of including polity in the general studies syllabus. So you can always find 10 to 12 questions every year. I think in 2021 they might increase it to 15 or maybe 16, right? So that is a probability. So we will prepare well for it. And another benefit of polity is like this is history. History also has about 15 questions, right? Here it had 17 questions. But history is ancient history. Then there is medieval. Then there is modern history, the Gandhian phase. It is the Delhi Sultanate or the Mughal phase. Ancient history is about Ashoka, Buddhism, Jainism. So it is pretty vast, right? But polity is not vast. Polity is confined to these five broader dimensions. One is the nitty gritty of our constitution, and we don't have to go in that factual detail of constitution. What are the things important that we will discuss in class? We will also provide it in the PDF form on the portal, right? Then some basics of political system, panchayati raj, public policy, and rights issue, right? So this is the general thing. So if this is another diagram, so you can see polity is in last 2 years cumulatively it is around 9%, but I think this might increase to about 10 to 12% in the future, right? And science is about 33% of the questions, right? Some of there is also some issue with the slotting. We have slotted some of the environment question in science. That is also a thing, but this is a general trend, right? Science will always dominate your paper. So that is also visible here, where this is also visible in this guideline of UPSC, that paper 1 in general studies is common for all streams and its standard will be such as that it may be expected of a science graduate. So this is a thing which is not written in IAS general studies paper, IFS, or maybe even in other Indian Economic Service and other CAPF other examination. So this is unique to us, to a geoscientist examination. So we can always expect about 30 to 35% question on basic science, right? So we will cover basic science also in general studies class pretty comprehensively and in a manner in which we can tackle almost all the question of science in the exam, right? So that is a thing. So I hope we are through to the basics of the to start off. We know the basics of what UPSC expects us and what we can expect in terms of the unit wise comprehension, right? So again, this is a previous year question analysis. So I have just written it in words, right? So when we analyze last 2 years paper, 2020 and 21, these are the topics which have come like in both the years. They've asked something on the parts of the constitution, very basic thing, and the schedule of constitution. Now, how many schedules are there? Schedule, there are 12 schedule. So what is there in 8 schedule, in 10 schedule? So it is very factual thing, and you can say that it is on structure of constitution, right? Constitution I will write like this, see, right? Then there was a question on preamble. This is nothing a preamble, that is the starting of the constitution, right? So then some there was a question on fundamental right, duty, dpsp, and duty, right? All these things. Then there was a question on power of governor, both the years. One year they asked about financial power, and another year they asked some other ordinance making power, right? Then they asked some questions on institutions like Niti Aayog, Election Commission, Finance Commission, all these things, right? And there was also a question on amendment. So I have put some questions here, and on the basis of the questions and the analysis, detailed analysis, these are the 6 7 themes which we need to prepare by heart, right? If in polity is huge, but if you, for GSI examination, if you are able to prepare these themes, right, I can guarantee that you will, like if there are 15 questions, you will get at least like 10 to 14 questions right, minimum. Now if with basic minimum effort, you can easily get around 12 to 13 questions right. So we will try to get it to 14 or 15, something like this, right? So the first theme is, in our constitution there are more than 450 articles, right, overall, but only few of them, a handful of them are very important, right, due to one reason or the other reason. Maybe because they are linked to the current affairs, maybe they are important for, women empowerment, maybe they are important for, some other purposes which are happening in the modern world. So there are just maybe 20 30 articles that I will pinpoint for you. I will compile them and then just go through them again and again. Similarly, we have over 104 amendments. I hope you understand what is amendment. Can anyone tell me what is amendment? English meaning of amendment?
The changes which makes in articles.
Yes, right. That is some changes. So, like we have a constitution. What is constitution? Constitution is a document which have a lot of laws in it, which have articles. Like a constitution of a country. What does it have? It have that this is the area, this is the boundary, this is the territory. Then they will talk about who lives in this country. They will talk about citizenship, like who all are the citizen of this country of India, right? If somebody is a foreigner and if you want to become a citizen of India, what are the conditions he or she needs to fulfill? Then it will talk about our rights, right? What rights or what benefits a citizen of this country enjoys, right? You enjoy a lot of fundamental rights, like you are able to walk, you are able to, go through the countries. Maybe you live in Manipur, but you can come to any part of the country. You can come to Tamil Nadu, you can go to, even Kashmir and wherever you want. So we have a right to movement, right? Then it talks about fundamental duties. It talks about how our government will run, right? How our parliament will make laws. Like, so what is the process of making the laws? All these things it talks about. But this is also a fact that a society, any society is not stagnant, right? A society evolves. Any society evolves. Like in the ancient time, just give me a minute. Like in the ancient time, there were a lot of practices which are prohibited today, right? You would agree. Like in ancient time, there was what? There was a
Dowry.
dowry. Yes, very good. There was a practice of dowry. Dowry is still there. Dowry is still there, but it is unlawful. It is unlawful, right? People still take dowry, but it is like it is illegal. But in ancient time, it was not illegal. It was pretty much part of the social system, right? It was pretty much part of the social system. Like there was, sorry,
Untouchability.
there was untouchability, right?
Child marriage.
there was child marriage, right? There was phenomena of child marriage, there was untouchability, there was a practice called sati, right? So these were all legal, they were all legal, and they were also, they were not immoral, they had the sanction of society, right? So you can say that, quote unquote, if there would have been a constitution at that time, these were all the part of constitution. But with time, with modern values, all these things become what? They become illegal, they become wrong. So that is why our constitutional makers have given this flexibility in our constitution, that we can change the constitution, we can change the constitution with time. But there is a process, detailed process, to change some of the provision of constitution, right? So those changes in constitution, we call them amendments, right? This. So till now, in how many, in about 71 years of our independence, we have made 104 changes to our constitution, right? So there are few, maybe 10 to 15 important amendments that we need to remember, right? So UPSC last year asked some questions on amendments, right? So instead of covering it this way, I will cover with the question itself, right? So I think this is the best way. You can link, you yourself will decipher, you can yourself analyze what is important for you, right? So see, first theme which I wrote is most important articles, amendments and schedules, right? What is schedules? Schedules are actually part of constitutions. They are present at the back end of the constitution. Like if the constitution is like a book, so at the last few pages, maybe it is a book of, say it is a book of 1,000 pages, right? So those last pages, maybe 990, 991, 992, some information is there in terms of schedule, schedule 1 to 12, right? So those are known as schedule. So UPSC is asking questions on them, right? Like, see this question, what it is, it says that the seventh schedule of the constitution of India deals with what, right? And they have given you four options. Like, so there is a schedule which deals with languages, official languages or languages of India. There is a schedule which deals with this list, like the laws or the something like this. Don't worry, we will come in detail. There is a schedule which deals with this land reforms, and one deals with anti-defection. So you don't have to go in nitty gritty. You don't have to remember. I will say the answer is this, B. The seventh schedule talks about some kind of list. If there is a list, on these list they have scribbled, like there is a union list. They call it union list.
State list.
Yes.
State list and concurrent list.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So there is a union list. So union list has a lot of subjects. Like it talks about defense, defense of India. It talks about foreign policy. So these subjects are, they comes under the domain of central government, right? There are some things, some subjects like agriculture, they comes under the domain of state government. So this is what they are asking. So this year they asked about what is in 7th schedule. Next year they will ask you on what is there in 10th schedule, right? Next year they will ask you what is there in 4th schedule, right? So it is very easy. So what is important is you need to be through with all the 7 schedules. So in our today's class we will complete all our, we'll try to complete all the 12 schedule, right? Then see here, they have asked about amendment. They are asking something on the 40th constitutional amendment, right? So we'll go through it, don't worry, it is one of the important one. And here they are asking nothing, they are asking which one of the following article of the Constitution of India deals with uniform civil code, right? So uniform civil code is something which again we will go in detail during the course of our study. So it is basically about, no matter of which religion or what culture a individual follow, but things like marriages, civil code. No, civil code is about, if you follow some kind of news, if there is a criminal activity, now you must have seen in movies that the judge or the lawyer says that, ki sir, punish this person under section this of IPC, like, or punish this person under section of this is of CRPC, like. So what is IPC? IPC is Indian Penal Code. CRPC is related to similar things also, right? So there is a civil code, there is a criminal code. Criminal code is like if somebody makes some criminal mistake, how he or she will be punished. Similarly, civil code is the code in which all the civilian activities of a citizen, they will be governed. Like these are the set of rules which govern the civil code. So civil code includes marriages, like who to whom you can marry, like individual A, there is an individual A, there is individual B. This individual have some race, na, some caste, some religion, some, right, and this is B individual. He also have or she also have some race, caste, religion. So who these can marry, right? Because in our society there are a lot of restrictions. Now we have caste system, we have religion, inter-religion marriages are also taboo, and there are a lot of things. Like there is Gotra system. There are system of villages. These villages cannot marry these villages. A lot of things happen. So these are all societal things, right? What law says is it is present in civil code, right? So it talks about marriages, divorces, right? About successions. Like if there is a family and they have four child, right? A, B, C, D. These two are girls, these two are boys. So how the property should be distributed in them? Like in earlier times, all the properties goes to the boy, right? But now there is a law that you need to share the property equally with the girl child also, right? So all these things are these are something which is present in the civil code, right? So now we don't have a civil code. Like there is a for like Muslim community, they have some different code. Some of the Christian community, they have different codes. Like, so if you are a Christian and if you want to get divorce in this country, there is a different protocol, there is a different timeline. If you are a Muslim and you want to get a if you want to get divorce, then there is a different timeline, different procedure, right? So this is something which is present. So like there is a talk that we should have a uniform, a code, a set of rules for civil purposes which are common to all the people, right? All the religion. So this is just a talk. This is not a reality. But our constitution also talks about it, like in a section which we call as directive DPSP, directive principle of state policy, right? So article 44 talks about it. So you don't have to mug up all the 450 articles. Like you are in this class just to know, sir, what are the important articles. So I'll tell you, I'll not even tell you, I will make you memorize this 30-40 articles, and they will be in a tip. If you remember this, you will be able to tackle all these questions, right? So you just have to have basic understanding of civil code, and you just have to know the article in it, right? So this is it. Now again, the second theme I could figure out from the trend is some important constitutional functionary, right? So who are important functionaries in our country, right? Who have some constitutional mandate. So people like the president, right? He is the nominal head of our country, right? You must be knowing, na, who is the president of our country presently? Anyone?
Ramnath Kovind.
Shri Ramnath Kovind, right? So he is the president of a country, like. But this post of this president, like, so similarly we have governor of all the states. Like we have one country India, but we have about 29 states, and we have 7 or 8 union territories, all these things, right? So all of them have also a nominal head at the state level, who is known as the governor. So this governor have certain powers, like, so here in 2020. See, they have picked just this theme governor, who is an important constitutional functionary. And what they have asked, read the question, which one of the following is not the ordinance making power, right? So there is something called ordinance. The ordinance is also like a rule which is directly passed by the governor, right? So don't worry, we will go in detail of it. But they are asking something about the power of governor, ordinance making power. Next year in 2021, they are asking about the financial power of governor, right? Now what we can decipher from this is next year they can ask something on the power of president, the power of prime minister. What are the other important constitutional functionaries? The power of CAG. CAG is comptroller and auditor general, right? So like you would have been aware that 10 years ago there was a lot of hue and cry about some scams. Like there was a like 3G, 2G, 3G scam, coal scam, all these things. So whose role was very important in that? It was CAG, na? Vinod Rai, Mr. Vinod Rai was the CAG that time. He unearthed a lot of things. Like similarly, there is Election Commission, right? There is Finance Commission. So these are all very important constitutional functionaries and institutes. Like so, UPSC can ask on them. Another thing they are asking about the power of Lok Sabha, right? So there is a topic we will study that is about the parliament, right? So we will study about parliament. What is parliament? What are the organs of parliament, right? There is Lok Sabha, there is Rajya Sabha, then there is president, right? These all three constitute parliament, right? How laws are made in the parliament, how they are like passed in the parliament, and some other terminologies about parliament. So, just as an aware citizen, I know every one of you, there are more than 80 people here. So, all 80 of you might be aware about something about parliament also, about political system, like about party system, all these things. But we'll study it from exam point of view, and it is also very interesting. This is something which we all should know as a aware citizen, right? So, it is very easy. So, similarly, again, the second theme is important constitutional functionaries and system of the government, right? So here they are asking about what? Here they are asking about some power of Lok Sabha. Here they are asking about some residuary power of Parliament, right? Parliament has many organs. One of the organ of Parliament is Parliament Standing Committees. So see, there is a question on Parliament Standing Committee. All right. Then there is intergovernmental relations, like relationship between states, like how somebody, suppose there is a person known as Abhishek Kumar online. So if say Abhishek is from, I don't know from where he is, maybe he is from Bihar, right? And there is another girl who is Purva, right? Purva Pandey. So like she might be from maybe UP. So how the government of Bihar and government of UP interact? Like they also shares a border. So maybe there is a river flowing from one state to the another state, right? So how they deal with that. So all these things are given in our constitution. So these are very important things. They are simply asking on that theme, right? Then the third theme which I could decipher was this Panchayati Raj government, right? So it is. I hope you still remember that this is explicitly mentioned in the syllabus. What? Panchayat Raj. Right? I hope you haven't forgotten it, right? I have also been pointed here, and this is our syllabus. See the highlighted part. So this topic, Panchayati Raj, it has given in syllabus. So I think you can expect at least one question or maybe two from this topic every year, right? So see, they are not asking very difficult question. They are just asking an article something of the Constitution of India provides reserved seats in panchayat for whom. So they are asking about reservation of seats in panchayat system, right? You must have heard about panchayat. What is panchayat? It is the governing body at the village level or the block level or the district level, right? Something like that. What it is, we will go in detail. Again, they are asking conceptual part of Panchayati Raj, factual part, which committee recommended this 2 tier, 3 tier. Very simple stuff. When you will be done with these classes, very easy. The fourth theme, this is also very, very important, is they're asking on the important bodies, important institutions. Right. So, like, tell me who governs a country? Like, presently, who is governing the country? Anyone? Yes. Yes.
Sir, repeat the question.
Who is governing the country? Like, who governs a country? Who runs a country? Anything? You can say anyone.
Prime Minister.
Okay.
Prime Minister.
Yes, like Prime Minister runs the country. Like this is a common answer. Like somebody says that President runs the country because he is the one or she is the one who signs on all the laws. Like somebody will say that's a collector runs the country because ultimately country lives in state and towns. So something. Now Anushri is saying that Prime Minister and his council of ministers run the country. Like so that is good. Like that is right in a way, but actually if you will sit and think conceptually, like they are the one who are taking the important decision and they are guiding. But if you see who actually is running the country, it is not individuals. Like it cannot country like yeah, she's saying, Deep Sharma is saying that Constitution runs the country, right? Constitution guides the country from how we need to govern, how we need to learn the country, like, right? But actually, it is the institutions. It is the institutions which ultimately yes, like, yes, Vinay is saying parliament, right? So parliament is an institution. Like, parliament is not a single person or a group of person. Parliament is like big. There are around 550 member in Lok Sabha. There are a lot of 250 members, around 250 members in Rajya Sabha, right? Then there is president, and there are a lot of parliamentary committees, a lot of things. So parliament is an institution. Similarly, to make parliament, we need to have election. Who conducts the election? Again, it is election commission, right? Then in earlier times, after independence, we have what? We have planning commission. So it was the planning commission which used to make policies. Now it used to do a lot of research based on Indian reality, what we actually need in our country, and then they used to suggest various policy change. Today we have what? We have
Niti Aayog.
yes, yes, yes. Today we have the Niti Aayog, right? So it is the think tank. It is an institution, right? Not a single person is running Niti Aayog, but a group of experts, like a group of yes, a group of economists, no, financial expert, maybe a group of there might be few geologists also, right? In the policy making, like geologists are the one who can say how what kind of exploration policy do we need. Like, is there anyone who can better say about the exploration policy of India? Right, we don't have a very good exploration policy in oil sector. It's still a lot of our oil is unexplored. So government a lot of time ropes in the senior geologist. Similarly, there could be civil engineer in terms of infrastructure policy. So a group of institution, a group of well-learned person, they run the country, not few individual. So in a way, it is good. Prime Minister is taking important decision. He is guiding all these institutions, but it is in reality institution which govern the country. So our theme is this. So this UPSC also targets these institutions. Like, so there are some institutions which are constitutional, some which are non-constitutional, right? So like, what is the difference between these two terms, constitutional and non-constitutional? See, so constitutional institutions, a constitutional body, are those bodies which have the mandate from the constitution itself, right? So like I discussed, constitution have a lot of content. So constitution also discusses or mentioned bodies or institutions like election commission, right? So election commission, institutions like finance commission, comptroller and auditor general. So you would see that everybody is afraid of election commissioner, the chief election commissioner. They are one of the most powerful person in the country, because he is not under anyone. He has direct mandate from the constitution, and nobody can remove him just because of his or her will, right? There is a proper method in which he or she can be removed. Like, similarly, one of the very important institution in our country is judiciary, right? Is judiciary, right? So we have high court, supreme court. So the judges of high court and supreme court, these are the people of highest integrity. Like, despite all the pressure, all the media hype, they don't come under much pressure, right? Because they cannot be removed. Like, they have the protection of the constitution. So UPSC is asking something about them. They are asking something about election commission. Now, which of the following statement is not correct about election commission? So like, they wanted the geoscientist to know something about election commission, to know something about finance commission. Now there is this advocate general for a state. Like, so he is the highest sarkari legal officer for the government, right? That he is the lawyer of the government for the state. So this is, then similarly there is solicitor general of India, right? So the solicitor general of India is the person who represent the government in high court and the supreme court. Like, whenever there is a case, if somebody goes for a case against government, he is the lawyer. No, he is the lawyer of the government. So this is the symbol they wanted to ask, right? Similarly, they are asking the function of Niti Aayog, right? So I think almost maybe 10-12 of you have mentioned Niti Aayog, right? It has replaced the planning commission, right? So very simple question. They are telling us ki what are the function of Niti Aayog. They design policy, they foster cooperative federalism, they are the think tank of innovation hub. All these things are right. So even a cursory glance, you can say that answer is 1, 2, 3, right? C. So pretty easy. Now similarly, we have National Statistical Commission. It was also from current affairs. It was in news due to some reason. So it is also an institution. Similarly, they are asking about Civil Services Board. It was also from current affairs, right? And here they are asking about paramilitary force. So army, military, it is also a very important institution. Like without them, it is very important to take these classes and to sit, freely, because they are the one who are serving our country from hostile elements, right? So they are asking something about paramilitary forces. So there are 7 paramilitary forces. We will just study about all of them. Like don't just go for the answer. Study about Assam Rifle, CRPF, ITBP, and BSF. So we will study about all them. UPSC ask us something about them. Similarly, some questions are from the government schemes, right? So I think if I compile you some material on government scheme, it could be up to 100 to 200 pages. Like, so I don't think that is a very good idea to study for 100 to 100 pages for just a single or two question, right? So it is important that we do a important analysis and we stick to a few important schemes, like which are very important. So UPSC is not asking very vague or uh, difficult schemes. Like, see here they are asking what? They are asking about Swachh Bharat Mission. Now tell me who is not aware of Swachh Bharat Mission, right? There are two. One is Gramin. Gramin is a Hindi term which means village, right? Rural, which means rural. And then there is one is urban, right? So they are asking something on it. Similarly, they are asking about Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. It is a very very important scheme. Like, so this we need to know. This is something which was in news. So see here, Swavlamban scheme, and see the options. Options are what? Senior citizens. Options are unorganized workers. Option is women and very newborn child. Right. So like firstly, someone tell me what is unorganized worker. Yeah,
The workers which are not consigned into which are not commonly governed into an union kind of thing.
yeah, मतलब बहुत ही if we say in a very simplistic way, organized workers are those workers like who are under some kind of formal contracts. Like if somebody of you working in a PSU, or if somebody of you is working in a government, so there is a proper paperwork, and you have your entitlements. Un Unorganized worker is someone like who is coming to your house, the maid, the cook, right? Or the labor who is doing her or his labor on the agricultural field. So these are unorganized workers, right? So tell me one thing, in these four options, what is a common point you can come up with in senior citizens, unorganized workers, women, newborn girl child. What is a common thing in all these four options?
Financial support.
Yeah, like he's saying, Akash is saying that they all need some kind of financial support. So that is good, right? Yeah, right. And another thing, if you will go even for some broader perspective, you will see that these all are something which we call as vulnerable section. Yeah. Their vulnerability might be due to this, which Akash said, that due to finances, right? They might not be having the best of finance. Like their vulnerability may be due to society, right? Like this newborn girl child, like, she's just newborn, right? And she's a girl child, but in our society, in some part of our society, they still don't see, the girl child as a good woman, right? And there are some pathetic activities regarding that. There is feticide still going on some part of our country, and then child female infanticide, all these things. So that makes her vulnerable. Women is vulnerable because of, there is a subjugation of a kind, right? There is not still gender equality. We are doing a lot on that front, but still that is not up to the mark. Similarly, unorganized worker, they are vulnerable because they don't have any contract. Like the maid who comes to your house, he could be fired by you or your parents or your grandfather anytime. Like Anushri is saying that they are also underpaid. Yes, they are also underpaid. They are not even paid the daily minimum wages. Like the daily minimum wages might be around 300 rupees. If you are making her or him to work for 30 days, it is 9,000. So we don't pay this much to our cook, to our maid, right? So that makes her vulnerable. Then we have senior citizens. They are vulnerable because of natural reasons, because they are old, their body is getting weak, right? And then there are other social issues happening, like the child are going in the city for work, for study, so they are alone in the villages, right? So it makes them vulnerable. Their health naturally makes them vulnerable. So I am not interested in the answer of the Swab Lamman scheme, right? Because this question has come. This is not going to come in 2021, right? What I am interested is in the analysis. So the analysis is from this discussion for us, for any UPSC examination, what is important is the vulnerable section. So if you come across any scheme, ask yourself whom this scheme is going to help, right? Whether they are helping disabled person, whether they are helping women, like whether they are helping this unorganized sector, women, or sector something. Maybe they are helping SC, ST, right? OBCs in that way. So these are all vulnerable sections. So right, so something like that. So now if you read a scheme, slot in your brain in these compartments, right? So it will help you. So, right, something like that. So then similarly there is Mission Indradhanush, like, so it is a scheme pertaining to, it is a very factual question, but it is very important because it is related to health, right? It is related to this immunization of the children. So all our children, they are entitled for immunization in the government hospital. So there are, I think, why this name Mission Indradhanush, because when this was launched, there were
7.
seven vaccines. Yes, right. There were seven vaccines. There were seven vaccines which were given to every child from his or her birth to about maybe 2 to 3 years of age. I'm not very sure, but there were seven vaccines. Tetanus for this measles and all these. There were seven. So that is why they named it. It is Mission Indradhanush. We will give these seven highly effective vaccine to the children so that he or she will be free from any these diseases, right? So this is very important, and it is important because it is related to health, right? Already there from last 2 years the world came to a stop with this COVID, and see, there was a lot of wait for the vaccines. So health sector is always important. Now there is also a very famous scheme, that is Ayushman Bharat, right? It is one of the biggest scheme by the present government, apart from that housing for all, right? So these are all important. Like if you are not very younger, and if you were a bit aware, 10 years ago there was a scheme, MG Narega. It was by the UPA government. So it was a very big scheme in terms of allocation, right? They used to allocate 40,000 crore rupees for this. So it was important for them. For this government, they have put a lot of emphasis on what? Beti Bachao, like Beti Padhao, Beti Bachao, Swachh Bharat Mission, right? Health initiative, Ayushman Bharat. So all these are important. In fact, I have missed a question, but there was also a question on Ayushman Bharat, right? So something like this. So we will study the most. Yes, now Dharmendra is saying that yesterday or 2 3 days before again there was Gati Shakti, something like that. A scheme was launched by the Prime Minister. So since it is in government, Gati Shakti, right? Something like this. Just 2 days ago, he launched a scheme, Gati Shakti. So someone who is like not good in Hindi, this Gati means speed. Like people from like if you don't know about the meaning of Gati, this Gati is a Hindi word. It means basically speed, right? So it is related to development of infrastructure, multimodal infrastructure, development of better railways, better roadways, better airways, and their interconnectivity, something like that, right? So since this is in current affair, it is important, and infrastructure is always important, right? We all crave for electricity, 24 hours electricity, right? We all crave for good roads, right? So all these are what? These are all part of infrastructure. So that is it. Then another thing is some important committees. Another theme which UPSC is asking is some important committees and important laws. Like here they are asking about Justice J.S. Verma Committee. So somebody writing exam in 2020, he or she might not have heard about it in recent past, right? But I think every one of you know about the Nirbhaya case, right? Yes. So it happened way back in 2012. So after that case, this committee was Justice Verma was was constituted, and it gave its recommendation that what changes in law, what changes in society needs to come in up so that we can avoid some horrific incidents like this. So it was related to women, right? So it might be a difficult question for some because they have not read it, but it is in general conscious, right? And this is the last theme, right? So they are asking something on governance also. It is also mentioned in our syllabus. So they might ask something on the department of the government, right? Like Ministry of Rural Development. This is a ministry, and a ministry has multiple departments, right? So they're asking about rural development, right? So you don't have to mug up all the departments of all the ministries. There are over 50 ministries in our country, but 4 or 5 are very important, like Agriculture Ministry, Rural Development Ministry, Finance Ministry, right? So we will try to go through the departments of these. Simple. So we cannot do 50. We should not do 50, otherwise we will forget geology, but we will do 4 5 what is important, right? So that is a smart way of studying. Like similarly, Gandhiji is always important. No matter what exam you write, whether it is IAS, it is Indian Engineering Service, Geoscientist examination, our beloved Gandhiji will keep coming in one way or the other, right? So if you get some fodder on Gandhiji, always read about it. Very wise word. So they are asking some Gandhian approach to development, right? So we always talk about development, right? Every government, everybody is for development. So they are asking nothing, but they are asking what was Gandhiji's view on development, what kind of development does he wanted, right? Simple thing. So we can do it. Okay, like I don't know, this is like I have copied this by mistake. This question is has nothing to do with polity, right? I think this is some taxonomical hierarchy. It is a bio question, very simple 11th standard or maybe 10th standard bio question, right? So I will skip it. Okay, I'll not skip it. Like can anybody answer me what should be the answer of this question? Is which one of the following represents the correct hierarchical sequence of taxonomic, something like this. So basically there is
A.
biolo A. Okay, somebody saying A. So there is a okay. Saloni is saying A. So there is a biological classification hierarchy. We also call it taxonomy, right? So this is what they are asking. So actually, this is not a very difficult or factual question. Even in geology, I teach to all my students in the class. So there is a very famous. I remember I ratified it in my 10th standard, right? So there is a famous mnemonic. What? Dumb kids, right? This is dumb kids prefer candy over fancy green salad. So this is what? This is just a mnemonic for this. So here D is for domain, K is for kingdom. So inside a domain, there are various kingdom like plant kingdom, animal kingdom, protist, fungi kingdom, right? Inside every kingdom, there are phylums. Inside every phylum, there are classes. Every class, there are many order. Under order, there are F for family. So I hope you can make sense of it now. D for domain, K for kingdom, P for phylum, C for like here candy, here classes, order, family, G is for genus, and S for anyone?
Species.
Species. See, so if you remember, if you have mugged it up, it is very easy, na? You like, and anyone who has read basic biology, he or she must know it. If you didn't know it, write it in your copy, and like it could serve you. If you go for GSI interview na, after clearing your mains, they can ask you this question. If you are preparing for IAS or IFS with geology optional, maybe chemistry optional, they can ask you this question. Even a lot, two of our students, they were asked this question in IFS interview, right? So they asked that, tell us this taxonomic category of who? Of man, right? So man, so see, now tell me, here species, genus, order, class, family. So you know species is, you have to write in ascending order, species सबसे पहले आएगा, then there is there genus, then there is genus, so ये चला गया, it is A or C, then there is family, then there is order, then there is class. So I think C should be the answer, right? So simple, very simple. So just remember this, dumb kids prefer candy over fancy green salad, right? I hope you can write it. Other, if it is not very legible, I can write it again. Do I need to write it again? Clear hai na?
No, no, sir, we got it.
No, sir.
Okay. Anyways, it has nothing to do with polity, right? So it was just a mistake. Okay. So now we will begin. We still have some time, so we will begin the first topic of our polity, that is the Constitution of India, right? So see, this is a it is actually the world's longest constitution, right? The world's longest constitution is the Indian Constitution, right? So इससे what is the take away from it? Take away from it is that we cannot, why we are preparing for a geology examination, right? So we cannot go through every nitty and gritty of this constitution, right? So we need to be very smart. We need to study only those things which some conceptual things, conceptual understanding of the constitution, and some factual things, right, which could directly be used in the examination in elimination method. So like we will follow that method only. We will try to maximize our marks with minimum input, right? So now next 15-20 minutes till this class goes on, we will study something basic of constitution, right? So there might be new words, some might be legal jargons, right? So at that time you stop me, sir, I don't understand this, explain me. But we are just having an overview today, right? We will go in detail of almost everything in the subsequent class. So bear with me. अगर बहुत issue आता है तो stop me and ask me, right? So that is the thing. So see, when our constitution began, it was adopted. There were around 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedules, right? Actually, a lot of text are coming. I don't know, maybe I think this IFS results are out, right? So don't know. A lot of our students have come into the list, so like a lot of texts are coming, but still we will have go on for again 10-15 minutes, then I'll end the class, right? So this is it. So what happens is, when we adopted the constitution, there were around 395 articles, 22 parts, and 8 schedule. So see, don't get overwhelmed by these words, right? Articles, you now understand what is articles. Article is just a detail, right? It is about maybe article on citizenship, so it will say something in 2 lines, that is an article, right? Part is like, it is a broader division. Article 1 to 50, they are part 1, 50 to 60 part 2, 60 to 75 part 3, something like that, right? For example. And at the end of it, we have schedules, right? So we discussed there are 12 schedule presently. So today we have 25 parts, 12 schedule, and 5 appendixes and 105 amendments, right? Okay. So like, okay. So actually we will have a break of about 2 to 5 minutes, right? And then we will begin again. I hope we can take a break of around 5 minutes. Then we will begin again for half an hour. I hope it is all right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.